So, hi Gwyneth. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interview you. I'm very happy.
Well, thank you, Nizam. Thank you for asking me. Yeah.
Okay. So, friends, here is Gwyneth Moss, one of the EFT founding masters. And Gwyneth, where do I get started? Yeah. So, what we can say is, friends, Gwyneth is one of the founding masters, and she has her own community called EFT Guild, and she has pioneered with various EFT modalities. Like one of the specialization where I'm curious to know about asking Gwyneth is about her Imagineering technique and about more about her journey. So let's get to Gwyneth. And Gwyneth, how did you get into EFT?
Well, talking of journeys, Nizam, let me start by telling you a long time ago in 1982, I
Oh,
took a long journey and came to India.
oh, okay.
Yeah, you're in Bangalore, aren't you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I went through Bangalore. I stayed in Mysore. I spent 3 months doing after I graduated from university with a friend of mine, Jenny. We travelled all over India on second-class sleeper trains and buses.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We had a marvellous time. People in the southern states, people were so friendly, so welcoming. We loved it. So thank you for the reminder of that journey. Now then, my EFT journey, I had a kind of proper career, and I was an oil exploration geophysicist. I have a physics degree, and I worked in oil exploration. And then I did an MBA, and I worked in the wearing suits world in London and in New
Okay.
York. And I reached the age of 40,
Hmm.
and I kind of went AWOL, absent without leave. I left my job because it just had no meaning for me anymore. That wearing suits commercial world, I just thought, why are we doing this? There's no point. I had a kind of an epiphany, and I just went, I can't do this anymore. I have to leave. So I left my job, and at that point I was working in America, and I spent 6 months traveling very slowly in America, camping out most nights, and it was a wonderful experience. But I didn't have residency,
Okay.
so I came back to England. I got a job in that old wearing suits world, and I hated it. And
Okay.
I was dreadful at it. And I knew that, when I left my job in America, I somehow thought that miracles would happen and a new life would start. And it didn't.
Okay.
So I came back to England because I had to, and I got an old job, and I hated it, and I was miserable because the miracle hadn't happened, and I didn't know what to do. And in part of getting that job, I moved back to Yorkshire in the north of England, where I'm from, where I live now. And it was when I came back to Yorkshire that the coincidences started to happen. And at the time, looking forwards, it was terrifying. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what to do. It was because I'd always been someone who was very capable and knew where I was going or what I was doing, and I didn't. And looking back, I can see that there was a consciousness in charge. It just wasn't mine.
Okay.
And so these very weird coincidences. I have a physics degree. I was raised, my parents were both scientists, and I'd worked in the very kind of left brain and corporate area and in the oil industry. And so how I would do a complete 180-degree turn and start doing something as weird as EFT.
Yes.
Well, the first weird thing I started doing, and I still can't understand how this happened, but I must have been somehow guided to it. I found myself on a hypnotherapy training course with the most
Oh.
wonderful man, Wilf Proudfoot. And after it was an intensive course, and after the first 2 weeks, I just went, yeah, that's what I'm here to do. This is it. I found my thing. But then EFT came along, tapping, and at first I dismissed it, like many people do. I went, that, hypnotherapy, that's weird enough for me. This tapping thing, that's too weird. Just
Yes.
push it
As if
away.
hypnotherapy was not enough, you went to explore even more weirdest thing called EFT.
Well, no, at the time, hypnotherapy was enough for me. And this weird thing, I kept pushing it away.
Okay.
But the more you push EFT away, the more it comes back
It
to you.
comes back.
So I started to study it, and I realized that everything I had learned in hypnotherapy and NLP was simply to prepare me for EFT.
Wow. Okay.
So this was nearly 20 years ago, and I got Gary Craig's, they were videotapes then. And to get those videotapes, the shipping cost more than the tapes to get
Yes.
them from the States.
Same thing happens for us also when we order books from Amazon. Book price is less and shipping charges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really just consumed Gary Craig's videos. And this was the very early days of the internet, where to get an email newsletter was exciting.
Yes.
And I'd begun practicing in hypnotherapy then. So I started introducing my clients to tapping, EFT. And amazing things happened. Like anybody in their first days of EFT, they tried, amazing things happened. So that really made me hungry for more. And it also made my scientist side curious.
Because you are born to scientists.
Yeah. So that's how I started. And then I think it's nearly 20 years I've been tapping now. The first 10 years, I was just putting every ounce of everything, time, energy, into this and into learning it and reading and sharing it. And then things have been slower this last 10 years. I've kind of relaxed back into it more, focused more on creating community.
Okay. And Gwyneth, what made you see? Out of curiosity, you explored EFT videos and learned. But what made you believe in EFT?
Oh, my clients, the changes that happened, the changes I witnessed. Yes, I had some experiences for myself, but it was much more. I had a client, she had severe OCD.
Okay.
If she walked along the street, she would be convinced that she'd bumped into a child or an old person, that she'd hurt somebody, and she'd have to go back and check. And of course, there was nobody there. But
Okay.
it meant that she would go back and forth and back and forth, and she couldn't even, our town is very small, she couldn't walk from one side of the town to the other because she had to keep stopping and checking. We did a session of EFT and that whole behavior went away.
Oh my God.
And she walked home in 5 minutes. And so it was things like that that really made me take notice.
Okay. And Gwyneth, you have created few videos. So, what inspired you to create this EFT companion videos? And could you please tell me about it?
Well, I realized that people come on an EFT training and they absolutely love it. They get inspired, but there's too much for them to take in. And the first time that people come on a training, they're focusing on their own stuff.
Yes.
They're focusing on they're kind of looking at the change inwardly. And that's not a good learning state. So I realized that people needed something after the training so they could go back and they could learn what they'd learned.
Okay.
So in 2010 with Karen Davidson, she's a marvelous EFT practitioner, and she's also runs a film production company, or she did at the time. So we worked together, and it was really good to have someone filming who understood EFT. The first films I did that I'm really proud of are the series called EFT Helps. And those are 9 one-hour EFT sessions where I sit down with someone and I've no idea what they're going to say, what they're going to bring up. I've no idea what I'm going to do.
Wow. So you
And
threw
so,
yourself into the challenge.
yes. So in those EFT Helps ones, they are marvelous for learning how the whole thing fits together. They're really good for practitioners to study. They're also very good for borrowing benefits to tap along with.
Wow.
And then the EFT training companion videos, that's my level 1 and level 2 training courses filmed, or most of it anyway. Yeah.
Okay, almost. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And so, friends, whoever is watching this, do visit EFT Helps, and there you find this companion videos
Yeah.
where Gwyneth has revealed her secret that almost her level 1 and 2 syllabus is covered. Yeah. And Gwyneth, I'm curious to know about your EFT Imagineering. And I heard about its application about pain and different areas, but I want to know from you directly. So could you please brief
Well,
about it?
there's many kind of applications of EFT or advanced techniques I've developed. And I don't just sit down thinking, how can I cook something up? They always come in response to somebody's problem,
Okay.
where the things that I normally do are not getting anywhere, and it kind of, the need creates something new. Well, the Imagineering technique came up because I, at that time, had a friend who was an artist, an older lady, and we were in her kitchen, and she was complaining that she couldn't paint like she used to because she had arthritis in her fingers.
Okay.
And I said, well, where does it hurt? Because that's the first question you ask. She said she'd like to tap about this. Oh, it doesn't hurt now. It doesn't hurt. It only hurts in the winter. No, it doesn't hurt. Okay, I thought, because with a physical symptom, we usually access it through the pain and the qualities of the pain, and we tap about, this pain is like a red hot spike in my finger or something like that. And there was no pain. So what do we do? Well, I knew she was an artist with a great imagination, so I asked her to stick a little light on the end of her finger.
Okay.
And to go inside.
Wow.
And shine the light inside and tell me what was there. And she said there was broken glass. So we just tapped with, even though there's broken glass, I'm really okay. And we tapped with that, and then she went inside again. And now it wasn't broken glass, it was ice.
Okay.
So we tapped, even though there's ice, spiky, sharp ice. And then she went back in again, and the ice was melting. So I thought, oh, that's cool. Well, we'll do that again. And I started trying the same thing with other people, particularly where there was a physical symptom where it doesn't have pain or movement. Sometimes things is like a restricted movement. So you have something to measure against. But when there's nothing to measure against and you can't see it, and that may be because the person is on medication. There's some EFT Imagineering articles and cases on my EFT Helps website, and one of them is a woman who had endometriosis, and she's taking medication to suppress the pain and the symptoms. So she doesn't know. There's nothing, she has no conscious feeling. There's no way to access this. And we did Imagineering with that. And again, we don't know if anything's changed because she's still taking the medication. Well, a few months later, she stopped the medication and the pain didn't come back. It was gone.
Wow. So now I understand the curious scientist within you has discovered so many or invented, I should say, so many new advanced techniques. So, uh, could you please brief about your online training sessions, Gwyneth, and how
Well,
you have
now that
structured?
until this last week, EFT International would not accredit online training.
Oh, okay.
Training had to be in person. And for
Okay.
me and for the EFT Guild, we recognise EFT International as the accreditation body. We need one accreditation body for EFT.
Okay.
Um, um, because there's lots of online training things that I would really just call scams. They
Okay.
take money and it's just you watch some videos. Those are scams. Online training must be live, interactive with the trainer and a small group. And EFT International has now said that yes, we can go ahead and do that. So I have started, and I've been in these last few weeks, these weeks where we've all been staying inside, staying home. I've been rewriting all my training materials to offer online practitioner training and advanced practitioner training.
Okay. So, I want to know more because you have invented so much and restructured than, like, what was taught 20 years ago and what is now.
Yes.
It is so much advanced, and you come with a hypnotherapy background, NLP background.
Well,
So,
those are very much in the background. And what I've been doing, I think, over the last 10 years is trying to understand what happens when we tap and how, because not for any kind of, science or to convince people, but really, if we understand what we're doing, then we can do it better.
yes, yes.
Yeah. So there's two ways that I've understood more. One is through understanding how intense experience imprints on people, and the other is through understanding and studying traditional Chinese medicine. So many people talk about EFT or the science of EFT, and they totally ignore the whole meridian system and the foundations of traditional Chinese medicine, which for somebody with a mathematical background, which I have, there is just an elegance to it and a beauty. And that has, I teach a class called Meridian Energy
Okay.
about, and there's a recording of that class available within the EFT Guild. For me, understanding the beauty and the form of traditional Chinese medicine has really helped me to understand what's happening with EFT better. And also to understand, I think many people learn EFT and they think the words, they say, what should I say? What are the right words? As if there's some library of all the right words. And if you get the right words from the master, miracles will happen. No. The words in EFT are, I'm going to get a prop actually. Do you have this stuff in India, WD-40?
No.
No. What it is, it's a lubricant. It's anything, it says on the tin, stops squeaks, drives out moisture, cleans and protects, loosens rusted parts and frees sticky mechanisms. So if that door behind you, there's a lock in the door, and if that gets stuck and rusted, what you do is you spray this stuff in it.
Oh, okay.
Right, now, most people in Europe and America would instantly know what this is because you can use it on everything. And everyone will have stories of things they've done with WD-40.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I use this to illustrate that. You see, there's two ways you can do it. You can just spray it like that and it just sort of goes all over everything. Or it comes with this, which is a straw, which you put inside there. And then when you spray it, you can get it right inside your door lock.
Wow,
Yes. So in EFT terms, the tapping is what does the work. The tapping is the juice in the tin. The words are the straw that gets the tapping to where it needs to go. The straw on its own does nothing. Yeah. But we need to get the juice right inside the keyhole. So tapping does the work. And the more that people trust the tapping, the more they understand that there's no magic words. The words are there to uncover, to bring forth, and almost to direct the juice to where it needs to go. The tapping does the work. So many people use words as suggestion or language of influence, as you would in NLP or hypno or whatever. In EFT, we don't do that. We don't need to do that. And often if we do that, we lose rapport.
Okay.
You know, if somebody puts their own words in your mouth, it doesn't feel good, does it?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
It's like shopping with your mother.
And my mother got everything what I don't want.
Yes.
And the kid is sad despite getting so much. Okay, now I got it. So the other EFT practitioners, now you are getting the difference between,
Yeah. So this is why it's so important to use the person's own words, because so when somebody is there's a difficulty, there's an energy pattern of that in their body. And that energy pattern comes out through their mouth in words. When you give those exact words back to them, you're tuning in that energy pattern so that the tapping can loosen it. That's why we use the exact words. That's why you don't go shopping with your mother.
Nice. And before we move into further question, Gwyneth, what's the secret behind your happiness and beauty, which keeps you young and energetic?
I'm not married, and I never have been.
But what's your advice for the people who are married and still want to be happy?
I don't know.
Because there was this meme on Facebook, are you married or happy? So,
Yes. I think that the secret isn't really a secret, it's really simple. But simple things are difficult. Simplicity is demanding. You know, I'm a Quaker and our worship is to sit in silence. You might think that's very simple, but it's really demanding. Yeah. The simple secret is to be yourself, to get rid of, to let go of the shoulds and oughts of musts. You know, I should be doing this. I ought to be like them. I mustn't. And to listen to what is true inside you. Now, when you start trying to listen to what's true, you get all the clutter because you've got a lifetime's worth of clutter of shoulds and oughts and musts, and it's not safe to, it's my fault, I'll get killed. Yeah. And EFT helps to clear that off.
Wow.
To me, we all come into this life like a shiny diamond, a perfect, sparkling, unique diamond. And then life throws it at us, and the diamond gets covered in dirt. And what tapping does is to clear off the dirt to reveal the diamond. Yeah? So my advice to anyone is start tapping, keep tapping. Clear off the dirt.
Even when you are doubting if tapping works or not, keep tapping.
Well, my advice to anyone who's learnt, because there's a lot of really sloppy tapping and a lot of muddled teaching online. And people, they expect these miracles. They expect, you know, if I say the right words, my life, and there's some dreadful stuff on YouTube of people trying to play on people's fear and greed. You know, tap for abundance. Yes. Nobody wants abundance. You know, You think if you have a garden and you grow something in the garden and you have a harvest and you have so much okra or so much courgettes, you have an abundance. You're trying to give it away. You don't want it. It's too much. Anyway, what I would say to people is go back to no words tapping. Tap without words. Tap really simply and make it part of your routine. I saw a client online by Zoom yesterday, a young man with a lot of anxiety, and he was Muslim. And I taught him what I call my traffic lights tapping, which is a way to focus on your body and then do a routine of breathe, tap, breathe, and then focus back to the body. And this really helped him. He really liked it. So I asked him, how are you going to incorporate this in your life? Some people, they do it every time they make a cup of tea. He said, I pray 5 times a day. I'm going to do it before my prayer every time. And now I thought that was a marvelous idea. And I think it will deepen his prayer and lessen his anxiety. So I'm interested to hear back from him. Yeah.
Awesome. So, Gwyneth, as I am talking to you, I'm getting so many ideas that, there's this, what to do when my client is not getting results, or what to do, what to say exactly when I'm running short of words. Just keep tapping, keep tapping, keep tapping.
When you don't know what to say. Now, the thing is, you don't know what to say. The problem is not yours, it's theirs. It's not you that comes up with the words. When you don't know what to say, you ask a simple question. The skill of EFT is in the questions. So you ask, what's that like for you now? What sets that off? What does that remind you of? And you will get something. And if they speak in general terms, you ask another question to get to specifics. So if they say, I had a client who said, my mother disparaged me. I can't see that. I keep asking questions till I get to something I can picture. My mother disparaged me. How? She would give this sneering look and turn away. Okay, so when we tap with mother sneering look, turning away, then we get change. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you very much, Gwyneth. And friends, I'm sure whoever is watching this, there are a lot of takeaways. And Gwyneth, I know this is your baby, EFT Guild. So could you please explain?
Well, I started in 2009. I began, I started running like I called it the EFT Gathering. It was a conference. We'd have about 150 people held in the north of England. And it was intended to be, it wasn't the big names of EFT, it was a friendly stage for EFT practitioners and trainers to share from their experiences. And a friendly audience. And it was marvelous. People really loved it. So I did it again the next year, and the next year, and the next year. And the EFT Gathering has been going since 2009. And then after a while, I saw that people came together. And when people who tap come together, that it just magnifies everything. There's a lovely, uplifting, magical feeling and atmosphere. And people would come and then they'd go away for a year and lose it. And I thought we need to keep that going. So that's why I started the EFT Guild, which is an online community. And it's not an accreditation body or anything like that. It's a community of learning and sharing and support for EFT people. And that's been going for about 5 or 6 years now, and it's a really lovely thing.
Right. Thank you very much, Gwyneth. So it's been lovely to know about your journey in EFT, and I never knew about the scientific angle of you and the scientist, how she has explored so many inventions with EFT. And it was amazing takeaway that it's not about words, understanding the uh, meridian science behind it, and it's all about tapping that makes difference. And I'm sure a lot of friends who are watching this now came to know about the EFT companion videos, where
Hmm.
they can either tap along, get the borrowing benefits, or use it for improving their skills. And also now, friends, Gwyneth is offering online training, so make use
Yeah.
of it. And all the schedule of your upcoming trainings will be listed on the efthelp.com. Gwyneth?
Um, yes, I will put them on there. At the moment, they're on the EFT Guild website, but they're in the public area of the EFT Guild website.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So it is to know about your training dates. One should either go on to EFT Help or eftguild.com.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And thank you very much once again, Gwyneth. It's been lovely talking to you, and thank you very much.
Thanks for inviting me. Thank you.